What if you could dig a hole straight through the earth and jump in? Sounds simple enough, right? Just grab a shovel or maybe a laser drill and start digging. But what would actually happen? Would you come out the other side? Would the planet survive such a feat? And what crazy, unexpected consequences might unfold along the way? Today, we're diving headfirst, literally, into this hypothetical scenario. We'll explore what it takes to dig through the earth, what you might encounter, and what happens when you mess with the planet's core. Spoiler alert, it's not all lava and science. So let's start digging. First, you just gotta punch through the crust. It's just dirt and rock. Easy, right? Wrong. The crust is home to all the tectonic plates that cause earthquakes. Imagine accidentally hitting a faulty line. Congratulations, you just created an earthquake. Good luck explaining that. But let's assume you avoid catastrophe and make it through. A layer so hot and pressurized that it behaves like a superheated molasses. How do you even dig through something that's technically solid but flows like a liquid? You'd need a drill that can withstand over 1,000 degrees Celsius and crushing pressure. Don't forget, the deeper you go, the worse it gets. But what happens when you reach the core? The Earth's core. This is where things get interesting. The outer core is a swirling sea of molten iron and nickel, generating Earth's magnetic field. If you disrupt it, bad things happen, like losing the magnetic shield that protects us from deadly solar radiation. So while you're busy digging, everyone on the surface is getting completely fried by cosmic rays. Oops. And then there's the inner core, a solid ball of iron and nickel as hot as the surface of the sun. Yeah, you heard that right. Digging here would require materials that don't even exist yet. And if you somehow break through, who knows what kind of chain reaction you might trigger. Sounds like fun. So what happens to the rest of the planet while you're digging? For starters, you're creating a massive hole that could destabilize the tectonic plates. Imagine entire continents shifting because you decided to play planetary dentist. Tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and earthquakes all across the globe all at once. And what about the atmosphere? A hole this big would create wild weather patterns. Oh, and let's not forget the geopolitics. Countries would fight over who controls this hole, turning into the most dangerous international landmark in history. Imagine that, the battle for Earth's tunnel. But let's just say that you managed to pull it off, and it magically holds together. Now what? You jump in, of course. As you begin your descent, gravity pulls you downward, accelerating you to about 9.8 meters per second squared. Spoiler alert, this isn't a smooth ride. And the deeper you go, the more intense it gets. Remember, the heat? The mantle is over 1,000 degrees Celsius. So without some sort of cooling suit that would need to be made from a futuristic technology, obviously, you'd roast like a marshmallow at a campfire. And then there's the air pressure. The deeper you go, the more compressed the air becomes until it is completely unbreathable. But then you don't really need to breathe considering you're gonna get crushed by the weight of the atmosphere. And what about the core? As you approach the outer core, things get even wilder. The magnetic field here is so intense that it could interfere with your electronics. So much for your futuristic suit. Your Apple Watch? Fried. GPS? Forget about it. You're on your own, and I don't even think your futuristic suit is going to be working. While you're busy free falling through the planet, you might feel that something's a bit off. Because there's the matter of the Earth's rotation. Digging a hole this big would redistribute the planet's mass, potentially slowing down its spin. Imagine a day that lasts 25 hours instead of 24. Sounds great for getting a little bit more sleep, but it's a disaster for ecosystems that rely on precise day and night cycles. Oh, and don't forget the wildlife. Animals are sensitive to magnetic fields, like birds and sea turtles would be completely thrown off course. They wouldn't be able to migrate properly, which means that the animals above and below them on the food chain will also be completely thrown off. Let's take a pause. If we had the technology to dig a tunnel through the earth, what might it realistically look like? Let's start with the materials. Today we have heat-resistant alloys like tungsten used in extreme temperature applications applications like jet engines and space exploration. Building on these, researchers are also experimenting with self-healing materials, metals that can literally repair themselves. So with this same concept, it's not impossible that there could be a self-healing alloy reinforced with certain advanced ceramics that could be used to build a tunnel capable of withstanding the heat and pressure from the Earth's mantle and core. But stabilizing this tunnel would be key. Modern mining techniques using rock bolting and sprayed concrete to reinforce walls, but at the scales and conditions we're imagining, that's not going to be enough. There would have to be robotics similar to what's used in deep sea drilling rigs, intelligent materials capable of adapting to stress in real time. And as for transportation, magnetic levitation trains already exist, reaching speeds of over 600 kilometers an hour. If we applied this technology into the tunnel, using superconducting magnets cooled by a liquid helium or nitrogen, then we could have pods that zoom through the tunnel at incredible speeds, making traveling from one side of the Earth to the other totally possible within under an hour. So you survive the journey through the Earth. Congratulations! But what happens when you reach the other side? Do you just shoot out like a cannonball, soaring into the atmosphere? Not quite. If the tunnel isn't vacuum sealed, air resistance would slow you down dramatically. And if the tunnel is in a vacuum, you'd oscillate back and forth like you're stuck in some sort of eternal yo-yo ride. But let's assume that you make it. What would this hole do to the planet? The answer isn't pretty. An open hole from pole to pole would wreak havoc on a global scale. Imagine hurricanes going through the tunnel, creating massive storms on both ends. But despite potentially destroying the planet, would this ever actually be useful? Well, for one, it would be like instant travel. Imagine hopping into a capsule in New York and popping out in Sydney 42 minutes later. No flights, no layovers, just gravity doing the heavy lifting. But I'd imagine that turbulence at the Earth's core wouldn't be fun. Next, energy generation. A tunnel like this could harness gravity as a renewable energy source. Objects falling through the tunnel could power turbines, generating electricity. Everybody would be driving a Tesla. And lastly, for scientific research, this tunnel would be the ultimate lab, studying Earth's interior. Geologists, physicists, and even biologists could explore new frontiers, assuming they survive the trip. But at least with our technology today, and any time in the near future, this tunnel would spell doom for the entire planet. If you thought climate change was bad, try explaining a giant hole to future generations. The temperature imbalance alone would melt polar ice caps faster than you can say Andrew Tate. And since we're talking about what ifs, let's go a step further. Recent conspiracies are saying that aliens are actually hiding inside of our Earth, whether that be under the ocean or potentially deeper inside the Earth's core. Digging this tunnel could serve as a beacon, signaling advanced alien life to finally emerge. And what would they think? They could see this tunnel as a technological marvel or a reckless act of self-destruction. Either way, it would spark an interstellar interaction maybe we're not ready for. On that note, let's say that humanity realizes that maybe this tunnel was a terrible idea. Could we fix it? Closing a hole of this magnitude would be an engineering nightmare. You'd need enough material to fill a void stretching thousands of kilometers. And even if you could, what about the long-term effects? The damage to Earth's core might already be done. Reversing the atmospheric and tectonic disruptions could take centuries, if it's even possible. Humanity would have to develop new ways of living in a world permanently altered by the tunnel. Building a tunnel through Earth wouldn't just affect geology, it would also challenge physics. The moon could literally shift in orbit and maybe even crash into the Earth. And what about time? Theories suggest that gravitational forces influence the flow of time. People could literally age faster at one end of the tunnel compared to the other. AKA, this tunnel could literally enable time travel. And what if the tunnel wasn't just a hole, but a gateway? Could the pressure and heat of the core create conditions for some new kind of physics? Maybe the tunnel becomes a wormhole, connecting Earth to distant parts of the universe. If that sounds far-fetched, consider this. Extreme conditions have led to major discoveries before. Superconductivity, nuclear fusion, even quantum mechanics all emerged from pushing the limits. I'm just saying, tunnel. Let's not forget that this would cost trillions of dollars. maybe more. But who foots the bill? Is it a single nation, Elon Musk? Or is it a global alliance where private companies and governments have to step in together, turning this tunnel into the ultimate commercial venture? But once it's built, how do you make your money back? Do you charge travelers a fee? Do you lease access to different countries? This tunnel could become the most valuable and contested piece of infrastructure in history. But at what cost? Entire industries might collapse since this tunnel could replace so many forms of traditional transportation and energy. And here's a darker thought. What if the tunnel becomes a weapon? A hole this massive could be used to destabilize the planet intentionally. Imagine a country threatening to collapse the tunnel, triggering earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions on all their enemies. Think about it. It's literally a doomsday device. Or worse, what if someone uses it to access the core? I mean, tampering with the Earth's core could leave us all getting roasted, literally, by the sun. It would be a weapon to use against the entire planet. Literally a supervillain's best option. And let's flip the script. What if the tunnel wasn't just about Earth? I mean, it could be a launch point for space exploration. By harnessing the gravitational forces inside the tunnel, spacecraft could achieve such velocity with minimal energy, it's like a slingshot straight into space. I mean, Mars? Piece of cake. Let's get on Uranus. What? Plus, this tunnel would probably become a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of human ingenuity and ambition. It could inspire art, literature, and entire belief systems, maybe even new religions. Some would see it as humanity's greatest achievement, and others, reckless tampering with nature. It would be a metaphor for connecting heaven and earth, a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris, and a great way for us to destroy ourselves before AI gets to it. In the end, digging a hole through the earth is more about hypothetical mechanics or consequences. It's about the spirit of exploration, the drive to understand our world and our place in it. While the tunnel remains hypothetical, it's a testament to the power of imagination. Dream big, think deeply, and embrace the unknown, because at the heart of every great adventure is a simple idea. What if?